Welcome to this special edition of Turning Hard Times into Good Times. I'm here with Brian Skanderbeg. He is the president and CEO of GFG Resources. And the reason for this special recording is that GFG just reported some spectacular drill assays, some gold assays from their Penn project in West Timmins. Thanks for joining me today, Brian.
Thank you very much, Jay. I'm happy to talk to you a little more about what the results mean.
Yeah, I'd like to get a handle on the significance of it. Of course, I think it was 71 something grams per ton over 8.5 meters, if I have that right. I mean, that's an eye catcher. It's caused your shares to trade, I think, something close to 5 million shares today. A big deal. Stock doubled in price. Tell us, give us a sense of the significance of this drill hole. And you've only put 2 drill holes down, so to get those kind of results with the second drill hole is that's pretty spectacular. But just tell us about the significance of this drill hole and what you plan to do going forward given these results.
Sure, Jay. Look, we announced this today, and we've been working at Rattlesnake or at Penn here for the last 2 years in the west of Timmins, and we really feel and have felt that this area was underexplored and could host a Timmins-style system. And we've been diligently building targets and doing initial phases of drilling on a number of targets. And today we announced the material results, as you said, 71 grams over 8.5 meters. This is in the NIB target, and it's one of the targets we've identified across our belt. And it's very shallow, very high grade, and comes as a follow-up to one of our holes we drilled back in 2018, where we had flagged the system. We liked it. We didn't have good assays at that point, or relatively low grade, but we kept at it. And in Q1 of this year, we put 2 holes into this target, and one of them intersected a very high-grade vein system, only at 50 meters depth, and also multiple other mineralized vein sets down the hole. So we think it's quite relevant. It remains very much open, and we plan to get back in there following it up in later this year as we continue to drill. There's also a number of other targets that we can test across here, but it's a relevant discovery, very high grade, and I'm happy to share a screen quickly with you.
Yes, please.
And, show you what we think of the area. So I'll zoom in here. And where we are is we're in the Penn Gold projects, and we're west of Timmins. And, you know, this is about a 60-kilometer chunk of ground that we're focused on exploring. And we have very big neighbors being Newmont, IM Gold, Alamos, Pan American. This is a belt that's well endowed with majors, and we are a very large landholder here at both the Penn and Doré Gold projects. In a little more detail, I'm going to talk to you about the NIB showing. And this sits at the end of a porcupine basin, and this is a package of sedimentary rocks. And we're at the contact of an ultramafic package called the Reeves Complex. And in detail, we're about 6 kilometers from a highway that trends us right into Timmins. So we love the setting of it geologically. We love the fact that there's lots of good neighbors around us with infrastructure. And most of all, we love the fact that we found some high grade, 71 grams over 8.5 meters. I'm going to show you some pictures here. And this slide is a cross section through the drill hole. And the highest grade intercept was up here near surface at about 50 meters depth. You can see in the image that we show here on the right, you know, there is a 500 gram assay here. And that's always a little scary where you have some exceptionally high grade. So as a geologist, we look at how many occurrences of visible gold. Well, there's gold there, there's gold there, there's gold in the next assay, and there's gold in the next assay. So to me, I look at this and say, what is the composite of the area that hosted the gold? And that was about 190 grams over 3.2 meters. And then what's the larger system look like? Well, the reality is there's still gold down to here, and there's still gold off the page up here. And that's what the 8.5 meters is. There's still gram material in shoulders and sulfidation of the wall rock. And most importantly, there's a very high-grade core to this. It is quite shallow, and there is multiple intercepts further down the hole that show we're dealing with a sheeted vein system in a diorite. It is completely open at depth. It's open along strike laterally. And I'm really attracted by the fact that most of the gold actually occurs in the wall rock, not in the veins themselves. So good system, new discovery. It is undercover. This beige rock up here is actually till and swamp. So there's no outcrop in the immediate area we're drilling, and that's why we entered this area. We felt there's a lot of cover and there should be gold systems that we can find undercover. So we're really excited by this new discovery. It's doubled our share price. And look, we still trade at 18 million market cap here. So I think it's still a lot of room for this stock to move. It is the first day of trading, and I think we're going to continue moving in this right direction. I should flag, we still have $2 million in our bank, so our balance sheet looks okay. The other thing that's relevant here, it's not just the nib occurrence that we're testing. We are also testing, and the drill is currently sitting at HGM, and we have drilled out at Slate Rock. And both of these targets have had relevant historic intercepts and economic intercepts that GFG has published earlier this year and from 2019. For reference, this is the HGM target. You know, we have 3 drill holes here that are in the process of being completed or have been completed, and we have pending assays on those. So we have some good catalysts coming forward as well in the next month or so. So what does this mean for GFG? A relevant new discovery. Where do we go from here? We have money in the bank. We'll be back here drilling in Q3, and we would believe that we'll have drill meterage going into both HGM and certainly into the nib occurrence. And we see relevant intercepts and proximal to the nib showing, but we also have a suite of other targets around nib that are in a similar structural setting. So this is where we've really been focused, and today is a material day for GFG of announcing a very relevant discovery.
All right, so I think, Brian, we're looking at an underground situation here probably. Can you tell us do you have any sense of the strike length of these structures? How big they might be? Do you have any sense of that?
You know, too early to tell that yet. It remains quite open. We're shallow. We've got to do some step out drilling. We've got lots of room here to expand this system, and we've got lots of room at depth, and we've got the potential for a couple stacked vein systems. At this stage, nothing tells me that this is an open pittable target. We would pursue it as an underground scenario, and that's typical of what you're seeing in this belt. Timmins is famous for a lot of underground production, and this target is very much like that. There's another half to this GFG story, and I think I should touch base quickly on Rattlesnake Hills. And Rattlesnake Hills is an asset we've been in partnership with Newcrest on for the last 18 months, and it's in Wyoming. And there's about 100,000 meters of drilling here. It's an alkaline gold belt, and we really see this as you know, an underappreciated opportunity. And Newcrest has been our partners for the last year. Now on Friday, Newcrest let us know they weren't going to be continuing with the joint venture. And while that was disappointing, it wasn't unexpected. And Newcrest is really being one of the biggest gold miners in the world. You know, they're looking for a tier 1 size system. And what does that mean? You know, 5, 10, 20 million ounce systems. And ultimately what we pursued with Newcrest was testing one drill target at depth as a bulk tonnage target. With 5,000 meters of drilling over the last 18 months. We spent about $5 million. We still see a lot of really relevant drill targets here that are shallow. You know, one of the last holes we drilled had 60 meters at, you know, just about 0.6 grams in oxide near surface. And GFG's also drilled, you know, upwards of 100 meters at a gram near surface oxide as well. So we've announced that we'll be reviewing the strategy forward with this asset. I'm completely believe the asset has very valid value to be unlocked, and we'll look for the right structure to do with it. I will remind your listeners that there's a lot of high-grade intercepts here. There's 2 gold systems that have been outlined historically. Agnico, Newmont, and Goldcorp, and even Newcrest have all had looks and interest in this project, and it's because it's an alkaline gold belt, and these are big systems, and we think there's still good scope to unlock it. I'll flag the last hole drilled by GFG, 100 meters at a gram in a near-surface environment with further mineralization down the hole, drilled in 2018, prior to Newcrest coming on board with us. So we think there's good scope here. It is a belt completely controlled by GFG, and when you look at GFG, here's a company that controls 2 major gold belts, a super credible team. We've got money in the bank. We've announced a relevant discovery here. And I think we have a good number of catalysts going forward. So I was really happy to be able to update your listeners here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly. And I'm wondering, going back there to the nib prospect where you had announced these spectacular results, you're certainly looking at a lot of variation in grades there, aren't you, Brian? So I guess probably going to require a lot of drilling and probably some bulk sampling even at some point.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a little premature to talk, bulk sampling, but
Yeah, of course.
for sure drilling on that side. And what we want to do is start testing the continuity and scale of the system and understanding the degree to which there are subparallel systems to it, and rank and prioritize the targets that are proximal and around here in a similar structural setting. Gold deposits don't typically occur in isolation, and gold systems are like that as well too. So we're keen to put some emphasis on this margin of the Reeves complex and in this structural setting, and that's what we're going to go back here and do later this year.
And are all the assays in now, Brian?
No, we have further assays pending from both HGM and Slate Rock, and we would anticipate those to be released in the coming month or so. I understand, look, it's a pandemic time frame. We're still active, but a number of suppliers do see slowdowns, and labs will be part of that as well. So we're optimistic we can provide further drill assays in the coming month from both the HGM and Slate Rock target. We did release the 2 holes that we did complete on nib. So the assays that are pending are from other targets, but they're also the ones we've had good results on historically.
Yeah. Well, this is really quite remarkable. Just a couple of drill holes and to get those kind of results certainly is exciting. And I guess you expect to get back sometime in the fall, perhaps September, October, something like that. Maybe back to a drill program after you've had a chance to look at all the data. Yeah,
looking at all the data and getting back here into Q3 is what we've guided on the market. So we'll see. Maybe we can do a little better than that, but that's what we're comfortable on talking about for the time being.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Brian, for taking the time. We want people to watch your story, and this certainly is an eye catcher. 71 grams over 8.5 meters, pretty close to true width, I guess.
Yeah, very good, and we thank you for the focus on the story today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or visit our website at gfgresources.com.
We'll certainly do, Brian. Thank you very much.
Thanks there, Jake.